Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview, this time covering VCT EMEA Stage 2 for Week 4. My guest this time is Cloud of GIANTX, this time coming off of their match against Gentlemen, in which they came out victorious, winning 2-1 in the series, and now moving on to playoffs with a 3-1 record so far in this stage. And so, Cloud, thank you so much for the opportunity, for the time, and congrats on the victory. Well deserved on that. First and foremost, I want to ask you just sort of what's going through your mind after finishing that series against Gentlemen. It was pretty difficult at first, but you guys were able to come out of it on top.
I mean, first two maps were difficult. I think we a little bit played sloppy on the attack side, but fortunately we were able to come back on Ascent. We knew that their mentality is not that strong after losing 3 games in a row with a huge difference from attack to defense. And I mean, it was rough to play first two maps. I think maybe I did some bad calls, but we need to rewatch this, to be honest, to understand what was wrong. Maybe execution, maybe calls, maybe we didn't play to what we have to do, in the round, and that's it.
No, most definitely. Like there was a time in which Gentlemen looked like they were going to continue the momentum from map one and finish the series 2-0 with a victory on their favor. Obviously, that didn't happen. You guys came back, and the momentum started to shift once you guys went on defense side on Ascent in map two, winning like 7 consecutive rounds and then carrying that forward into map three and all that good stuff. What do you think ignited the change for you guys at that time that helped you guys close the series to your favor?
I think Ara stepped up really strong in Ascent in defense. He just bought the op and he was moving on the map really cool. Also, we got some great ideas, and in my opinion, they played a little bit too slow attack side because almost every time we knew what they're doing. Of course, we missed in a couple of rounds, but they're just human factor, when you can simply don't hear something or stuff like this. But usually, most of the times, we knew where they're gonna attack and what they're gonna do.
Yeah, like, and what about what happened in map three once you guys went over to a Haven and you kind of mentioned about looking at or perceiving the other team's mental? Do you feel like you guys were in such a momentum that frankly, nothing could stop you?
To be honest, yeah, I think we got our momentum. We just started really slow both maps, like Karod and Ascent. And then after this, we got our momentum. We won Pistol. We were ready what they're gonna do because we played against Viper comps. And a couple of rounds we played better on defense, in my opinion. But most of the times we expected we spoke what they're gonna do in the buy phase before the game started, and it actually was like this. So I think we guessed correctly, and they played maybe not bad, but we just guessed correctly. I would say like this.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned about Ara's performance, individual contribution, and how like he was probably one of the main reasons why you guys were able to win this series 2-1 in a comeback fashion. Talk to me about how he has been integrating himself within the team, because I understand he's joined the team at a pretty I think around the middle part of the season. So how have you viewed his individual performance today, and how has that kind of been growing throughout this season since the time he arrived?
To be honest, he's like a young guy, he has a hot blood. Uh, if it's properly said, he's like really the guy who likes to do something. He's really active during the game. He likes to talk and really active. That's really good for the duelist. He's almost never afraid to do something when I ask him, or sometimes I even have to say like, "Don't panic, everything is fine." Give some calmness to him because sometimes he's panicking a little bit, but I think it's normal. It's his kind of first year in VCT, and he's gonna grow into a bigger player soon because he's really good at what he does.
Almost definitely, and it definitely showed itself today against Gentlemates. And one interesting aspect that I want to ask you, Cloud, is sort of your calling of this kind of team, because as I alluded to a little bit earlier, this team has been kind of formed in the middle of the season. With the inclusion of Ara and also Rubinho, Flickless, and I believe Westside too. I mean, the team had to rebuild itself so quickly in so little amount of time from stage one to stage two, and it kind of feels like now this team is reaching its potential, playing very well and qualifying for playoffs. As the IGL for yourself, having to bring in these players and having to manage them in their own specific way. How has it been like for you to adjust and then work with these new players and having to improve so quickly at the same time?
I mean, to be honest, all of the players that are grinders itself, you know. I don't have to. We don't have to say for them to play the game or do some stuff. They are giving it all, I think. Of course, we are not robots. Sometimes we are a little bit lazy. Maybe it's fine, but overall, they're really, really grinders. They are just passionate about the game, and they manage to fix the problems. For example, Pipson and Velander, they're really helping our players to develop. And with the time that we played every game by game, we try to find out our problems, even if we won, and trying to fix it. So for me as an IGL, I mean, it's rougher than not IGL. When you are a player, you have less responsibilities, of course. But I just try also game by game to develop myself. What's good, what's not for me, and try to keep the mood of the team. Trying to give my past experience, what was happening on the stage, to them, and transfer it into their heads. So it's gonna be easier to play for them as well. So also for me, like giving them good calls so they can perform themselves and like to not struggle to going to the stack and stuff like this. I mean, today attack was not really good, and I don't know why. Maybe it's bad calls, but we need to rewatch it and just fix it.
How does this current version of the team compare to the previous one, in which the version that started out this year? How does that kind of compare between these two sides?
I think the biggest difference in these teams, it's like that this team grows much faster and fixing the mistakes. All the guys, they just accept the stuff that they did wrong, you know, and they're not trying to say, "Oh, this is because I lacked or something I didn't hear." They're actually saying the real problems, and coaches are fixing it really quick. You know, like everyone developing at the same time. There is no people that can just be lazy and don't do anything. You know, everyone does their job, and that's it. That's what I would say the biggest difference in the if you compare. You know, we are just growing much faster than it was before. And in
Um,
current meta, I believe that you have to grow really fast. You cannot stay on the same place and do the same things.
Yeah, and it feels like this has been working very well for you guys. And I remember I had a few conversations with other players so far in stage two, or more specifically at the beginning of stage two, and they were mentioning about how GIANTX is a team to look out for, and because of what happened in the scrims and practices. And I feel like you might have been feeling the same way as to the potential of this team. Still though, like to go from relatively roaming within the bottom standing stuff VCT EMEA earlier on in the year to now being in the fight, getting into plus and getting into the race to champions. Did it did it surprise you that this team was able to improve so quickly?
Mm, To be honest, not really, because when we trialed the people, I knew that how they work, because we played two games with them of the first stage, and we were kind of already trialing the people and their, how to say, the working mentality, I would say, and like how do they act and on the problems, how they are trying to fix, how they can hear us and fix it. So I kind of knew that Flickles and Dara, they're really good at it. Of course, every human can have a problems, you know, sometimes, but you can always talk to them and they will hear you out. And that's the way I think and I believe that that you can grow. You know what I mean?
Now, if you guys into playoffs, as I said, in the fight towards making Paris, how far do you feel like this team can go? If everything clicks and you guys have the right tools in place and the right timing in place, also.
I mean, if it's gonna click for us, I don't think this team is stoppable. You know, you cannot stop it. If train goes, it's GG for everyone.
Yeah, like echoing the PRX train. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, it's gonna be JX train.
Okay, for sure, most definitely. One more question I want to ask you before I wrap this one up. Into the final match of the schedule for you guys, which is Heretics. The toughest matchup, I would say, for this team in this group for this regular season. What's the mindset going to be like for yourself and the team to face off against the perennial runners up in EMEA?
Nah, to be honest, we don't think if they're good or bad. We just come and play, you know. There is nothing that there is no teams that are really strong or one head above everyone, you know. Everyone can beat everyone, and just depends on the day. Also depends how good prepared you are and stuff like this. If everything clicks on this day, you are unstoppable. But even though today we started rough both maps, we still managed to win. So it's a good resilience from the boys, you know. And I think we just need to start off maps good, like on Haven. We started good map and we lost like 4 rounds on defense, I think. And then everything was good, you know. We lost the rounds that we deserved to lose because we did some mistakes, and it's normal in my opinion.
And hopefully you guys can learn and from what happened today, the mistakes, and then improve and put up a really big fight against Heretics and everybody else that comes in your way after. Cloud, thank you so much for the opportunity, for the interview, for
Thank
the
you.
answers, and all that good stuff. Best of luck goes to yourself and the rest of the team for next weekend. Everything else after that.